Today we're in South Central Alabama, and I will tell you this place is really cool for a few reasons. For one, they have gone through the process of restoring an old town, and it's just off into the woods. You walk through a trail, a nature trail like area, and then you come to this area that they've got cleared out where there's like 4 different buildings that they're trying to keep restored, as well as an old farmhouse. That's what we're gonna do. We're at Landmark Park today, and we're gonna check it out. So join me. As I tried to explain there in the intro, we're on this nature trail area here, and not far up the trail we're gonna come into this really cool area with these, it's got like a church and a schoolhouse and a drugstore, buildings that they are trying to keep alive. But until we get to that point, we're walking down this trail, they have several little kiosks like the one we are entering right now, where animals would be, snakes and rodents. It looks like they have got them cleared out right now. It is really cold out, so I can imagine they probably have them out of these areas because it's so cold. But apparently this is the snake area. Oh, here's one. They have at least one snake out. Poisonous snakes found in southeast Alabama. I don't like snakes, so I did not come to see the snakes. I came to see the old buildings in the old farmhouse that's just in a clearing back here in the woods. As the trail takes us this way, I'm starting to see some objects up ahead of us, and we continue going up the trail, and as you can see here in front of us, we've made it to these buildings just off in the woods here. This is the first of 4 right here. This is Headland Presbyterian Church, 1897. The building's in rough shape. They have it chained so you can't go no further than right here. That's it. In 1897, when this church was being built, it cost all of the materials to build this entire church totaled at $240. Everything still seems to be intact, with an organ over there and the podium there at the front. And all of these church pews, they are in remarkably good condition. You can see that they're old and weathered, but they are still in really good shape. There is up there, and that is a bell. And they have the rope here to pull the bell. But as I'm pulling it, it's not... That's awesome. At least we know the bell still works. It was making some pretty odd noises, and it almost felt like that whole bell was going to come crashing down on top of me, so I had to stop. Sitting right next to the church, right here, this appears to be an old schoolhouse. It's in very bad shape. It's a lot older than that church, most definitely. This is it. The desk still attached to the floor and everything. This old wood burning stove here to heat the room. And this is where the teacher would have stood. Okay class, today we're going to learn about history and some really old buildings. Oh boy, I love to learn about history. Over here, we still have the Bill of Rights mounted onto the wall with just some old pieces of wood as a picture frame. Now I can feel the floor as I'm walking. It's not holding up very well either. they will have to chain this one off like they did the church before really long, because I can feel it in the floor. It doesn't feel very safe. You can see here, unfortunately, they've already had to patch one hole, which kind of takes away from the building with all this old wood from the 1800s, and then you get a brand new piece of plywood. Look at this, the old hooks are still here after all these years. Students who went to school here, when they would come in to school, they would have their jackets on and all that, and they would hang them up right here and go sit down at their desk to do their work. This reminds me a whole lot of the schoolhouse that I got to see when I went and visited old Cahaba over near Selma. The next thing up here in this little town, this looks like this is the general store, but I don't think that we're going to be able to get inside of it. I can hold my camera up to the window here, but check it out there on the inside. They have a fire extinguisher. I mean, everything is preserved, including stock. These shelves are stocked. An old wood burning stove in there, cash registers, everything. Let's go over here to the other side. Look at even the old signs. Hang over here, top sweet snuff. Wow. This one would be from behind the counter. That's amazing. I really hate that we can't get inside of this one, but they have it locked up for some reason. Maybe it might be in worse shape than the school or something. This store was built and went into operation in 1932, so it's not quite as old as the schoolhouse or the church, but they have it locked up as if it's in the worst shape. And finally, building number 4 here in this small abandoned town. This is the drugstore. We should be able to enter. We are inside of the drugstore. Old ice cream scoops, glasses, and everything. Back in the back here in the glass is where they would have all their medicines. Up here in the front is where all the candies would be. Steel pen tips. We don't use those much anymore. There's even an old cash register right here. Wow, this is absolutely amazing. Here's their wrapping area. So if they needed to wrap something up with twine. Counter area here, this is where they would have made up some of their drugs. They even have some here on the shelf. Check out this old box of Band-Aids by Johnson & Johnson. Back here down this hallway, this would have been some interesting rooms. There would have been a doctor's office, a general practitioner who would have worked out of here. This was their examination room. There's an old wheelchair there, and their utensils. If they needed to examine you, you would have come right there on that bed. And the waiting room for the doctor's office. So the doctor's office part would have had its own entrance in the back of the building. You would have come in, you would have waited here in this waiting area to see the doctor. And then if you needed to get a prescription filled, you would go up front to the drugstore. Or if you just wanted to come in for the drugstore, you would come in the other side and purchase whatever you need purchased from that side. The cool thing about this drugstore that they have on display here is they actually have it fixed up and working. It's a working soda fountain. They do have an attendant that works the soda fountain in there, but she did not want to be on camera, so she stepped out of there. I'm glad that they took the time to renovate the soda fountain inside of there. That's really cool. And like I said, they do have an attendant that stays on duty, and they sell ice cream and sodas out of there as they would in the early 1900s. What's crazy though is she would have had to walk the trail through the woods to get to where she works each day. That's crazy. We continue walking through the woods a little bit, and we come to this giant clearing, and it looks like they have a playground built over here to our left. This is really cool. This playground shaped like a barn. Somebody's peanut patch, Sleigh's peanut patch. Check this out, it's like a zip line or something running across here. And we get up to the last item on display. The turn of the century farmhouse. It's built in 1902. This farmhouse sat on 80 acres of land. 80. It's all still here. Everything's still intact, just as it was left. The beds, even a closet with garments inside of it there. This bed's made as well. Piano over there. This being the dining room area of the farmhouse. And here was the kitchen with this old wood burning stove, and there's even jars up here with food still in it. That's nuts. Their well was right here off the back. They could just come right here and send that bucket down and get them some water. And then right off the back, they had access to everything that they needed. All of their barns and storage sheds, like this one. Look at that saw right there. Here's their outhouse. They have chickens in this pen over here. This would have been their horse stables. I saw one of these down in Tallahassee and did not know what it was called. I said it looked like an oven or something to that nature, but here they're calling it a syrup shed. I guess so they can make syrup. Well, we're gonna head back through the woods back to our vehicle. Tomorrow we're going to be back into Florida again. We'll be checking out a really neat place down there. So this one is now over. I want to thank all of you for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you all, and I hope you have a great day.